He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Live from the Play Show, you're not overly ostentatious studios of 365 Sports here in New York City. Welcome on in to what is a Monday edition of the Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports. You could always get at me on the good old cesspool of Twitter or on Instagram, where I'm straight flexing at Zach Gelb. That's ZACHGELB. You could also get me on TikTok at the Zach Gelb Show. But most importantly, youtube.com/@365SportsYT. youtube.com/@365SportsYT. If you joined us live on YouTube right now, congratulations. New time slot here, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time on this Monday, May 18th, as we move the show from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you are maybe consuming us in, 3 or 4 hours from when I'm saying this right now, and you're listening to us in podcast form where you get the Zach Gelb Show on 365 Sports, we have new live hours Mondays through Fridays from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. And Garrett Ross is still with me from Waco, Texas. You got Andrew and Logan helping out behind the scenes. And Garrett, we got a whole lot to do today. We'll get into Jaylen Brown versus Stephen A. Smith. We'll get into the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals in the NBA. Coach Prime wanting more input in NFL circles. And then also Aaron Rodgers, he's back with the Steelers. We'll tell you what it means, a.k.a. not that much.
Exactly.
But we'll get to some college football in just a second. But I'm a little bit surprised how many messages I've got where people are like, oh, now I can listen to you once again because I'm tuning in and you're on earlier from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time, which I just find interesting to me because for most of my career, I was on either 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern time or 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern time, and then getting thrown in a day part that I've never done before in a weekday lineup from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern. I think that I was surprised by how many people go, oh, now I can actually watch or listen to you again.
That's good, man. And that's the thing, is like finding the sweet spot in this and trying new things, trying new avenues. And you got a lot of stuff going on. You got other things you have. So I'm glad that people are able to find you. I know the show's going to continue to grow. I'm just happy to be a part of it, man. But I'm glad. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you were missing Zach, you have found my man.
Well, you say that I have a lot going on. Yeah, I do have some things going on, but today I woke up, I took a walk in New York City, stopped off at the grocery store, got some couscous for dinner that I'm eventually going to make at some point this week, and some string beans as well. So I don't know how much I really do have going on in the earlier part of the day, but when I did get back to my apartment this morning at like 11 a.m., I was like, I got to quickly put on a shirt, wash my face, brush my teeth, and make myself look presentable. And then we'll get done at about like 1:50, 2 p.m. Eastern time, like right around in that range each and every day. So you say I have a lot going on. Outside of my walk this morning and then going to the grocery store, I don't know how much I really do have going on. But I guess it's a lesser wait until the show does start, where I would be waiting until 2. And then my biggest debate was, do I work out in the morning or do I work out after the show? Now this is pretty much set up where I will then work out after the show for people that are keeping score at home. I had a great weekend. How was your weekend, by the way?
Man, it wasn't bad. Actually had some time with my entire family. We were able to hang out and just kick it. Went and got some food with the kids, went back roading. So it wasn't bad. How about yours?
You went what?
Back roading. You don't know? Oh, yeah, you don't know about that.
All right, I'm an East Coaster. I know my college football knowledge is very supreme, so people don't think I'm just some Yankee. But what did you do? Back roading?
Just go and hit some dirt roads, drive around the country, look at cows, just
chill. In your car, or you're like on one of those bikes?
No, just ride around in the car, hit some back roads,
Okay.
Just chill. Yeah, it's a thing in the South.
Well, see, in the East Coast, when you say, oh, you are going to go back, I don't think we'd ever use the word backroading, but if you're going to, how did you explain it again?
Just like ride around, just hit some dirt roads, find like some different
back
things.
roads,
yeah,
right?
Some back roads.
That to me is like, oh, I'm going to take a shortcut, and I found a new way to get somewhere that I think is a little bit quicker.
Yeah, no, we do back roads. We just pace it out like short. There ain't no shortcut. Y'all's up there too, like It's different. It's a different layout of how y'all can do things.
Yeah, so this weekend I went to I went to the Met-Yankee game on Friday night.
I watched some of that.
The Mets got, they didn't get annihilated, but they weren't really ever in the game. I was 3 rows off the right field area, and there was this 4-year-old kid that was right in front of me, and he had an Aaron Judge sign. I thought this was pretty cool. Aaron Judge walked over to him, gave him a baseball, right as the inning was started. So I thought that was neat. So I did that Friday. Saturday, I hosted on WEI in Boston, which I'm doing some shows there. So that was fun. We had Mo Vaughn on. Saturday night, I went to Springsteen at Madison Square Garden, which the boss to me is the greatest live performance I've ever seen is whenever you see Bruce Springsteen in concert. And yesterday, I just walked around the city. It was effing gorgeous.
That's
85
awesome.
degrees. There's this diner in Chinatown. It's called the Golden Diner. And it takes a while to get in, and they take reservations, but it was just kind of spontaneous. So put my name down at the Golden Diner, was told 2-hour wait, walked around some more, got some coffee, sat down, got some water, things like that. Then went to the Golden Diner, had some pancakes, some Korean barbecue wings, which were delicious. And then I had some chicken club. It was like a katsu chicken club sandwich. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Either way, my interpretation, it was effing delicious. And then walk some more. I wonder how many steps I got yesterday.
So is that your version of chicken and waffles, I'm assuming?
No, we have chicken and waffles.
You got chicken
here.
and waffles?
It was chicken katsui is what it was called.
Okay.
No. There are chicken and waffles. That would not be my version of. It was like a chicken club sandwich.
Okay.
Yesterday I got 22,488 steps. Did about 11 miles, and it says I burned about 1,700 calories, which I probably
that's what I would love to live.
Put it all in the gut after that meal I had.
Dude, I would love to live in a city and just be able to walk around. There's no sidewalks in my town. It's a pain in the ass to walk anywhere. I hate it.
So I live in the bottom of the city. I'm in the financial district, but the Upper East Side's all the way towards the top. Yeah. So tonight, one of my best friends is moving out of the city. He's moving he's growing up. He's going to Stamford, Connecticut. So on Thursday, he's moving out of the city. So I said, all right, let's do dinner one day this week. So we're going to this place called Patsy's Pizzeria, which I've never been before. I just casual, get some pizza, chill, whatever. So I'm doing that tonight. That's all the way on the Upper East Side. So I did about 7,000 or 8,000 steps this morning. I'm going to go do my hour elliptical ride after the show. And then I'm not going to walk up to the Upper East Side, but I'm going to walk back after dinner. It's like a 6:30 dinner. So I'm trying to get another 20,000 steps in today is what I'm
I respect that, man. I respect that.
I love walking the city.
I do too.
And here's the weird thing. If it's cold, I don't care. I'll still walk the city. The only element I will not walk in the city. Yesterday, I usually have no problem walking at all. Yesterday it was so damn hot, and the body's not acclimated to it being this hot.
Yeah.
So I at the end of the walk, the last 15 blocks, I was just dead. But the only element I will not walk in the city is rain.
Just not having it.
If I could have the powers of just eliminating one condition, and I think people to go more serious things. They'd be oh, I eliminate cancer,
right.
Or I would eliminate hurricanes. But I was talking more, I say conditions, and it is ambiguous. I'm just talking about weather perspectives.
Right.
And yeah, I'm sure maybe hurricanes and earthquakes are probably better to get away. But in New York, we have an earthquake here and there. We don't really have hurricanes here. Rain. I would just get rid of rain. Rain is just is absolutely the worst. I can't stand just walking outside and it raining.
I would rather be in the rain than the ice. And I thought I would be able to adapt to do snow and stuff, but after walking around up there for a little bit where y'all are, I don't want no part of that ice stuff.
Oh, the ice is bad. And this is when I know that I'm getting older. I told you this. It was 2 months ago, 3 months ago when we got a bad snowstorm. And it was so icy, and you get the black ice too. And I was walking to the subway, and as I'm about to go down the subway steps, I slipped on some ice. Ooh. And there's 2 ways to fall, right? You either fall forward or you go right up in the air and then you fall on your back. That is what happened to me. I didn't know that I had a vertical that high when I fell. And I don't know how I didn't like snap my head back on the concrete pavement.
Yeah.
Like I got lucky, but I was on the phone with my mom, being a good son, talking to mom. And then right as I'm about to go down those subway steps, I slipped right before the steps and I went up in the air and then I fell back and I was like, truck.
Yeah.
And it's never good when you have like a Jewish mother on the phone and she's like, what's the matter? What's the matter? And I'm like, shut the F up. I just fell. And then I was all dirty. So I had to walk back to my apartment, shower. Oh, it was
Just
it
all
was an
pissed off,
absolute
dude.
mess. Yeah, but it's still rain. I just can't deal with rain. Anyway, we are here today until 2 p.m. New time slot, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. Bracket Cat says, damn, Zach, I can't even get to 10,000 sets most days. Respect. I used to be a fat son of a bitch, Bracket Cat. I lost like 90 pounds or so since like 2019, 2020, 2021, in that range. Just started working out, eating healthier. And once you get in that kind of mindset, you really do get a kind of addicted to it. And living in the city, it's just easy to walk all over the place. Like I don't have a car in the city. So your options are walk, Uber, or Subway. The Subway's nasty. Uber's so damn expensive. And I just enjoy walking and really enjoying the city. So anyway, let's get to sports talk because that's why people tune in. It's a fun way to just start the show, how we did coming off a weekend for the last 10 minutes. So Garrett, I was reading this list on CBS Sports, and they were ranking the most complete teams in college football for this upcoming season. And when I took a look at this list, I thought to myself, well, who are the top 10 teams right now in college football? And what CBS Sports had, and we'll then go through ours, and I will do this in terms of the teams that they don't think the highest up to the teams that they think is the most, will be the best. So
Right.
These were their top 10. They had Alabama in at 10. These are most complete teams in college football. They had Indiana at 9, CBS Sports. LSU, I know they had a lot of changes this offseason. I thought it was a little rich for the Tigers in at 8. USC at 7. I understand that on paper people like USC, and the idea is, it's most complete teams. But Lincoln Riley has really never won a big game at USC, so that's tough for me to see them at 7. Miami is in at 6. Notre Dame is in at 5. Oregon in at 4. CBS Sports in at Georgia in at 3. Ohio State in at 2. And then Texas in at 1. Now, whenever you have these preseason lists, I always am fascinated to see how they age.
Right.
Because you do them either two ways. One, what they accomplished off of last year, and a lot of people then just don't study what the teams are this year, and that's a big mistake because of the fact that now more than ever, turnover is as great as it's ever been, as rich as it's ever been in the sport of college athletics and college football. But I also then do think when you do it based off this year, which you should, I wonder if you could have a clear-cut full picture, and there's a lot of times that we overrate teams. Like last year, Clemson was supposed to be one of the best teams in the country. Penn State was supposed to be one of the best teams in the country. LSU as well. And Clemson had a miserable season. LSU fired their coach. Penn State fired their head coach. So those preseason top 25s or preseason top 10s or 15s, I never know what they're based off of.
Right.
So let's do this. And I want to have like a real list of integrity here. Like, I want us to have a real good attempt at getting this right. The top 10 teams in the country entering this season. If you have a team that you think is a smaller brand that isn't that recognized, put it on the list. If you think this team is one of the top 10 teams in the country, put it on the list. Because a lot of times we just go off what they did last year or who the big brands are and look at it. Like, you look at the last 3 national champions. Sure, you had a huge brand in Michigan, a huge brand in Ohio State, but then you had Indiana last year.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of excitement and palpable buzz for Indiana, and they ended up having the best team in college football, and it wasn't even close as they did go undefeated. So let's do this right now. The top 10 teams in college football, Zach Gelb, Garrett Ross will do a draft on how we think it's going to be to start this season, and we'll just go back and forth until we get 10. I will start it off. So for the number 1 team, I don't think there's a clear and obvious answer for this.
Right.
I really don't. I could consider 4, maybe up to 5 teams as the best teams in college football entering this season. So I'm going to look for a team that's safe. I'm going to look for a team that I know for sure will win double-digit games, and they have a lot of returners, and they also have some hunger to them. And that's the Ducks of Oregon. Oregon, to me right now, is my preseason number one. Dante Moore, you could argue, is the best quarterback in the country entering this season. Dan Lanning is one of the better coaches in college football. Now, he needs to go win a championship at Oregon. It's similar to the Ryan Day status where he has not lost a lot of games. He's accomplished almost everything that he could so far except winning a national championship. We've already seen him win the Big Ten as the Ducks are relatively new to the Big Ten. We've seen him have wildly successful regular seasons. Now he's got to get the job done in the postseason. DeCorian Moore, if he's healthy, I think is going to take that next step this year. I know that they lost a lot, Oregon, with the safety that got drafted to Chicago. They also lost Kenyon Sadiq, too. They have lost some pieces, but Oregon, especially in a sport that at least has covered so much from quarterback and head coach, I know what I'm getting out of Dan Lanning. I know what I'm getting out of Dante Moore. There is hunger right there. I believe Oregon, to start the season, is a number one team in college football.
I will go. I'm going to wrap up Miami. I really like what Miami. I really love what Miami did this offseason. I think you upgraded at your quarterback position with Darian Mensah. I think he's significantly better than what you had in Carson Beck. Now, you did lose Ruben Bain. You lost Francis Monongai and some other people, but you're able to bring Malinois. You were able to bring David Wilson over. You also loaded up you got your backfield is solidified. You got playmakers all over the field. On offense, I think Miami is built to compete for a national championship this year. Malachi Tony's absolutely a freak show. Watching him with Darian Mintz is going to be awesome. So I'm going to ride with the Hurricanes at number 2.
I don't know if there's an offense in college football that I'm more excited for than Miami.
Dude, they are. Yeah.
Mensah, Tony, Fletcher.
It's ridiculous.
Just the three of them. And we know, obviously, Tony. Everyone knows Fletcher, because they were on that team last year. But Darian Mensah, he was a stud at Tulane. He was really damn good at Duke. So he has ACC experience as well. And now he goes to Miami. I think for sure he's going to be a first-round pick. As long as he stays healthy this year, I have sky expectations for Darian Mensah, and he should be a finalist. And also Mario Cristobal, this is a huge year for him. Last year was a big year,
right?
Because he needed to finally have that signature season at Miami. They make it all the way to the national championship game, almost lost it. If Carson Beck doesn't throw an interception, who knows? Maybe we're sitting here saying it's all about the U, and the U is back. But when you have a season like that, there is a fear that either complacency settles in or then there's going to be a letdown. I just don't see a letdown with Miami this year.
No.
And you can't predict injuries, and I get that. But I look inside the ACC. Like, remember when Oklahoma ran the Big 12?
Yeah.
There's no reason why Miami, for the foreseeable future, can't run the ACC. Clemson has taken a big step back. We'll see if they're going to be able to bounce back this year. Quite frankly, if you're telling me right now, hey, Zach, Miami doesn't win the ACC this year, which would be tough for me to believe.
Right.
I think, hot take, I know that Miami's going to win the ACC this year. Mensah and Tony and Fletcher, I'm just so excited for those three. Mario Cristobal has been a really good coach for a long time. But the team that I would then put stock in is SMU because you have Rhett Lashley. You have Jennings back for another season at the quarterback position. He's got a limit on the turnovers a little bit, but he's a good player. I look at Miami. This is not a tough ACC. This is one that they should be able to win. And just envisioning that world where they don't win it, It's not as if I have a robust list of, there's 4, 5, or 6 teams that I'm really intimidated by in preventing the U from getting back to the college football playoff.
No, you're completely right, and that's why I'm going with them. I think their path, you could have made a case for some other programs, but I think taking everything into consideration, looking at their path towards the playoff, the schedule in front of them, I've got to ride with the Hurricanes at number 2.
And also, I think there's 2 things working for them. Not only the hunger to go get back to the national championship and win it, but remember, they could also be motivated in winning the ACC.
Correct.
And people are going to overlook that because they made it to national championship. But last year, they weren't in the ACC championship game.
Yeah, and they've never won the ACC, and we don't know how much longer these conference championships are going to be around. So if they want to, put a feather in their cap and say that they did that, you need to do it this year or next year.
All right, Oregon 1, Miami 2. I'm deciding between 2 teams right here. I'm going to go Ohio State in at
Okay.
3. And the other team, I'll hold off because I'm curious who you're going to go for. Ryan Day is just a consistent, good football coach. Julian Sayin has something to prove this year, but he had a really solid season last year. I need to now see him play better in the bigger games. But you got the best player in college football, and that's Jeremiah Smith. And it's rare for me to say the best player in college football isn't a quarterback, and usually, right, quarterbacks get all that notoriety. Pound for pound, I think the best player in college football this year is Jeremiah Smith. And I know that they've lost some with Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs, but Ohio State has really turned into a factory. Like, remember when you were watching Saban's Alabama teams?
Yeah.
And even Georgia, right, with how many players they pumped into the NFL? That's Ohio State now. Yeah, I know Urban Meyer did it for a long time there, but really under Ryan Day, each and every year, it doesn't matter who they lose. Like, hey, they lost Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh, no big deal. I got Jeremiah Smith.
Right.
All the wide receivers that they've put in the league, all the defensive players that they put in the league. And it's different now because you don't, like, when Alabama and Georgia were dominating, because there's no transfer portal, there was no NIL, you had All-Americans as your second and your third deep on the depth chart. Now the sport is more spread out. And Ohio State still each and every year has arguably the most talented team in the country. So I will put Ohio State in at number 3 on this exercise.
No, that's a good one. I'm going to take the team you were probably thinking of. I'm riding with Texas at number 4.
It was not the team I was thinking of.
Really? Okay, so I was going to between Miami and Texas on my first pick right here. I've got to ride with Texas, though, dude. Like, there's no excuses left for the Longhorns this season. You get Arch back, which at this point, if Arch can't match his expectations, we'll never see it. There's no excuses because the playmakers he has around him, whether it's Cam Coleman coming in at receiver, you got Ryan Wingo there, Emmett Mosley. The backfield is loaded with Raleigh Brown, Hollywood Smothers, and others. The defense is on another level. There's no reason that Texas should not be competing for a national championship this year. And at this point, honestly, dude, like if Sark can't get them there, then I think we can have a legitimate conversation about Sark as a head coach because you have no excuses, dude. None.
But let me ask you this.
Okay.
Sark has done a really good job in Texas. And I understand we haven't probably fully appreciated the job that Sark has done at Texas because even when Quinn Ewers was there and they won the Big 12, then first year in the SEC, they're in the SEC championship game. They made it all the way to the Final Four of the college football playoff. And all granted, Sark had a shit-the-bed moment on what was an awful play call up against Ohio State. And the next thing you know, Jack Sawyer had his moment in the sun, and they go on to the championship game, and they win it. But Sark, those 2 years with Quinn Ewers, they weren't appreciated nationally because everyone was saying, oh, just wait till Arch. Just wait. Like, all right, you win the Big 12 championship, you lose in the college football playoff. Oh, then you get in the SEC championship game, you lose in the SEC championship game, you make it to the final. Don't worry, you got Arch. You got Arch. You got Arch. And everyone was just waiting on Arch, and it was so solely focused on him that last year I think people forgot how much talent that they lost, and maybe that's why the season shouldn't have been as surprising as what it was. But even if they, like, let's say they make the college football playoff this year, and they lose in the second round, you say have a conversation. What's the conversation? Like, are you implying then that they should move on and move off of Steve Sarkisian?
What I'm saying is at that point, if he's not able to get it done, maybe he considers the NFL. I don't think that Texas would never necessarily like move off of him because he's still one of the top coaches out there. But if you can't do it with them, I just don't see you winning a championship.
The reason why I'm laughing, it's not what you're saying, but there were NFL rumors last year from everyone's favorite NFL insider, Diana Rossini. And remember that she was the one that said that there are teams that are interested in Sark or Sark has NFL interest. I forget what the wording was in the moment. And then Sark went out and lambasted the report and shut it down right away. So, you say Texas. I think this is a safe way to say it. The offense I'm most intrigued by this year is actually Miami because you have Mensah, you have Tony, you have Fletcher. I think that trio is going to be wonderful. The individual player that I think has the most pressure on him in college football is easily Arch, because last year was so up and down, but it ended on a good note, had that nice victory up against Texas A&M, so you put some lipstick on a pig. Now Arch has to put it together. Can he win the Heisman Trophy this year? Can Texas go win a national championship? But you know the team that I'm most interested to see how we're talking about them at the end of the year? It's actually Notre Dame. Because Notre Dame is my next team. Okay. And I think Notre Dame is an exceptional team on paper this year. I thought they were worthy of going to the college football playoff a year ago. I understand why they weren't extended an invitation and why the committee ended up going Miami over Notre Dame. And we get in all that debate. Should it have been Alabama against Notre Dame, and should Notre Dame have got in? But regardless of the fact, there's hunger with the Notre Dame program. Last year, you saw a lot of C.J. Carr. I think he's a damn good quarterback, and I think he's going to be great this year. And Marcus Freeman, he needs to be better to start the season, because we've seen some of these early losses in the beginning of the season that ends up derailing his team's season. 2 years ago, they were able to get past it. Last year, it ended up biting them in the you-know-what. But I look at that Notre Dame team. I get it. People are always skeptical of Notre Dame, but I think people are now more open to Notre Dame actually winning a national championship, because 2 years ago, they won some big games en route to losing that national championship game to Ohio State. But I look at Notre Dame this year. I think they're a top 5 team in college football. I think they're one of the best rosters in the country. I think they have a really damn good coach. I think they're a really good team. And I look at the Fighting Irish. You could walk in this season saying, hey, I legitimately expect them to win a national championship. And there's not a lot of teams that you look at this year and you go, oh, I'd rather have them than Notre Dame.
No, I completely agree with that. I'm kind of concerned about some of the people they brought in and how they fit in and develop, but I think they'll be just fine. Their schedule too is definitely cake. I'm going to ride with LSU, man. Like at this point, I'm going to ride with LSU. You've addressed all of the issues that had bugged you last year. You've replaced your quarterback, as Garrett Nussmeier was abysmal. We know now with the injury and all the stuff that went into that, why he didn't look the same last year. You've addressed the offensive line, which was one of your biggest issues. You bring Jordan Seaton over to bring anchor that unit as he comes in from Colorado. I like what you've done on the defense. I think they could take a step further under Blake Baker. I'm glad that they really kept him this year. And then you have the running backs to work with. You have Harlem Berry. You got Caden Durham. There's no reason and no excuse that they shouldn't be competing for a spot in the playoff. I'm not saying they're going to win the SEC. I'm not saying they're going to win a national championship. But to me, they're one of the best 10 rosters in college football. Lane Kiffin's got all eyes and expectations on him. Like, he's got to match. Like, you got to live up to the hype, dude. Like, you didn't come here. You came to win championships, so you got to prove it. You got to get into the playoff this year, get LSU back to where they're expected to be. I'm going to ride with the Tigers.
Is this Homer Garrett? Because
No.
all off season long,
No, dude,
you've been extremely down.
I am.
And you've been extremely critical on LSU. And now today, when we do the top 10 teams entering this season in college football, I had Oregon 1, you had Miami 2, I had Ohio State 3, you had Texas 4, I had Notre Dame 5. You're telling me
They better be.
you think LSU is the 6th best team in the country? I'm not disagreeing. I would not have put them. I actually would not have put them this high.
Right.
But I am just I like your analysis. I'm just shocked it's coming from you, because
Dude.
I got the vibe all off season long. And you don't think this LSU team is that good?
I mean, I'm on the fence about it. I'm not sold on Sam Levitt. I'm really not. Like, I think that I don't think he's necessarily an upgrade over Nuss. I think if we would have had a healthy Nuss, then he would be better than what Levitt is. But with all of the expectations where LSU's at right now, there's no excuses, and this team has got to live up to it.
Oh, I'll say that Levitt's better than Nussmeier. Levitt has to stay healthy, and I know that was a problem for Nussmeier. And there's still potential with Levitt that we have not seen yet, and potential means that we haven't, you haven't done it yet. But I think that Levitt has a higher ceiling than Nussmeier. But there was a while ago where Nussmeier was thought to be a first-round pick. Obviously, it wasn't anywhere close.
Yeah.
And this time last year, people thought eventually Sam Levitt could be a first-round pick, and now those talks have died down as well. All righty, so we are 6 teams in. So I get 2 more selections.
Yep.
I have 7 and 9, and you have 8 and 10.
Okay.
I'm going to go Indiana.
All right.
Indiana deserves the benefit of the doubt. Kurt Cignetti's first year, he went and took that team to the college football playoff where they lost to Notre Dame, and people thought that was going to be the apex. And last year, not a lot of fanfare. Indiana's going to regress. They'll probably lose 3 or 4 games. They went undefeated. They won a national championship. You have Josh Hoover coming over, who I think is a good quarterback. We'll see what he can do now on a bigger stage. But Cignetti is the best coach that we have going in the sport. And if we start to get to a level here in this conversation where it's borderline on like some of these teams, I'm going to give the tiebreaker to the best coach in the sport in Curt Cignetti. And also their schedule, cupcake soft.
Yeah.
The Indiana schedule is very easy, where even if they've lost Fernando Mendoza, they lost Omar Cooper Jr., and those are players that obviously will be Indiana legends forever because they won a national championship at Indiana. Pinch me. Ow. I still can't believe it. But you look at the schedule, North Texas, Howard, Western Kentucky, Northwestern, Rutgers. That's a bye week for the first month and a half of the season. Then they're at Nebraska. They play Ohio State. They're at Michigan. After that, Minnesota, USC, at Washington, Purdue. How does anyone see this team losing more than 2 games this season?
I mean, I don't know. I think there's always suspect. Like, can you do it again? Are you going to take a step back? But no, I have faith in Cignetti. I don't think, though, it's hard to replace what Fernando Mendoza did. And I think that you can – I think Josh Hoover is a good replacement, but there's no way he can match that. But if you're Indiana, dude.
How much of it is the system? Because and just that coaching staff, because Curtis Rourke was there.
Right.
And he did a good job. Fernando Mendoza then comes in, relatively unknown. Like, I don't know how many people were watching Cal and staying up late and watching them when he was there, but it wasn't as if Mendoza was thought to be this great quarterback. Mendoza was really damn good. People know of Josh Hoover because he's been in a lot of national games for TCU, and they opened up the season last year up against UNC. But I kind of think with that offensive staff that they have in Indiana, they're going to be able to make Josh Hoover – they got to cut down on the turnovers, but they're going to make Josh Hoover look like a bare minimum a really good quarterback.
No, I think he's going to be better than he was last year significantly. I think he's got more talent around him, and having an offensive line and a rushing attack is definitely going to alleviate some of the pressure on him, where that was what hindered him last season.
Before you give a team, I think there's a glaring omission. We are 7 teams in. I'm surprised there's 1 team on the board still.
And I think I messed this up, and I should have flipped them, and I think I'm going to address it now in Georgia.
Yep.
In Georgia. But see,
Georgia?
They didn't do anything sexy in the portal. I think but it's weird because we give Dabo a lot of hell for how he approaches it, but Kirby's really doing something very similar, and he doesn't get the flack that Dabo gets, and I think it's because he still continues to win. But they do an excellent job on the recruiting trail. They're always going to be deep. When you look at the quarterback coming back, I think that's something you can hang your hat on. And Gunnar Stockton, he's not great, but he wins games. The tight end position, he's a college quarterback, dude. Like, he's an old school college quarterback too. The tight end position is going to be really good. They're always going to be loaded on defense. And Kirby Smart's is one of the best coaches we have. There's only a handful of coaches that are still active that have natties. Kirby is one of them. They're the defending SEC champs. Yeah, I got to ride with Georgia.
Okay. So Oregon 1, Miami 2, Ohio State 3, Texas 4, Notre Dame 5, LSU 6, Indiana 7, Georgia 8. I hate not being the evens here because I always like to have the last team just in case if there's an egregious omission. I'm going to go Texas Tech here.
Yep.
Even without knowing what's going to happen with Sorsby, and I'm operating under the assumption that Sorsby is not going to be available for this season, and Will Hammond will be back by week 3. I know you lost Rodriguez. I know you lost Bailey. They have so much money, though, at Texas Tech, and Joey McGuire is a good coach. But also, I got to factor in the schedule. Abilene Christian, Oregon State, Houston, which is going to be a very good game in week 3. Then you play Sam Houston State, Colorado, who stinks, Arizona State, we'll see what they are this year, Cincinnati, Arizona, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and TCU. I think Texas Tech should repeat as Big 12 champions. Now, they could be pressed by BYU. They could be pressed by Houston, but even with Sorsby or not, and the bad part about – there's a lot of bad things about the whole Sorsby situation. I don't necessarily freak if they have to go Will Hammond over Sorsby, but it's more so with how much money they had to invest in him. They could have allocated those resources somewhere else, or they could have got somebody else instead of just, I don't know, what $4 or $5 million that basically you just pissed down the drain.
No, that's all valid. And I think that's kind of what's got me having Texas Tech fall back as much. They're still going to be really, really good and compete and they're going to be a playoff team without a doubt in my mind.
Now, before you give me your final team,
okay,
can I just give you some options that I think?
Yes,
I'm not
please.
saying that you got to listen to me.
No,
but I just like to set the stage because I know how this works. We leave out a team, everyone goes,
that's going to get
why didn't you
pissy.
consider our team? Why didn't you consider them? Texas A&M, I think, should be under consideration. I don't know if they're going to be in the top 10 when the top 25, first top 25 poll comes out because of how that season finished. Even though it was really damn good, people soured on Marcel Reed up against Texas. People soured on Marcel Reed in that playoff loss to Miami. But I think A&M with Reed and Elko there are going to be a good team this year. Ole Miss, I am curious with Golden there as the head coach for the entirety of the season, how it looks. But you have Trinidad Chambliss and Kejuan Lacey back. Oklahoma, Mateer was hurt last year. I don't think Mateer is great, but he's a good college quarterback. And, Venables should have a good defense. And then Alabama, I do believe, is always going to be in the mix. I think people nationally are going to be a little bit quieter in Alabama entering this season because the last 2 years people tried to drum that up, and they've just never have looked consistently like a national championship contender under the first 2 seasons of Kalen DeBoer. But that Alabama season last year, even though it wasn't one that people it was wildly successful, they still made the college football playoff. They still won a playoff game up against Oklahoma. Now we'll see if they get back in the national championship contending conversation. So I'll just dangle those teams out there. A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Alabama for the final spot. But it's your pick, so you can do whatever you want.
I was actually going to ride with the Tide. And every one of those are valid teams, and you can make an argument for any one of them. But Alabama they did a good job of addressing the trenches on both sides of the ball in the offseason. And you still got Ryan Williams there, which, he's got to step up this season. It's inexcusable.
He's got to mature.
Yeah, the drop-off that he had, it's kind of inexcusable. They're probably going to start with Austin Mack as your quarterback. If we're probably about 4 weeks in.
You think it's going to be Mack over Keelan Russell?
I think he's going to get the nod, but I think you're going to see Russell. I think by the midseason, you're going to see Keelan Russell come out and then set the foundation for the future of Alabama football, which I'm really excited. I hope he pans out, even though I'm an LSU fan. I really like Keelan Russell. But no, Alabama's one of those programs where the consistency hasn't dropped. And I know that if you're a Bama fan or anything that, you haven't matched the expectations, but dude, there's no meeting Saban's expectations. That's unrealistic. So the consistency for Kalen DeBoer, he's still one of the best coaches we have out there. The quarterback depth that I'm looking at, I think is really good. And what they were able to do in the trenches, I think you're going to see Alabama really lean on that running game and become physical and start punching people in the mouths again this season.
All right, I'll do a first team out. You do a first team out,
okay.
And that will make 11 and 12. My first team out is going to be Ole Miss.
Okay. My first team out. Oh, Jesus.
A&M, Oklahoma.
I'll go A&M. I would go A&M.
I like that.
I like Marcel Reed. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they could do. I think Mike Elko is literally the best coach for Texas A&M. He's the epitome of Texas A&M football. I'm going to ride with him. I'll go with him.
If you had to then take a team that maybe won't be in the top 10 when the season starts, but at the end of the year, maybe they could be. Do you have a team that comes to mind?
Auburn.
Ooh.
Auburn. Dude, I really like Alex Golish. They did a really good job. They addressed the portal. Their running back room is absurd. They got 4 running backs that can go. They can just rotate in and out. The receivers are there. They brought over a lot of talent from USF. They addressed the I could see them working their way up into the top 10 at the end of the year.
All right, that's a juicy answer. That's juicy. Mine's Michigan.
That's fair too.
Because I don't think it's sexy. I don't think it's out. I think Michigan will be a top 15, top 20 team in most people's eyes. But Kyle Whittingham is just a professional coach. Sharon Moore was a professional Instagram DMer. Yeah. And I think that having a professional coach in there is going to be able to unlock what a lot of people thought that Bryce Underwood should be able to be. All righty, Josh Pate. I think everyone likes Josh Pate, right?
I think most people do.
Do you not like Josh Pate?
I'm not a big Pate guy, but it's
really? Oh,
it's not good. We're good. We're good.
I like Josh Pate. I do. Josh Pate did a top 25.
All right.
And he released this like 2 weeks ago. So our top 10, where I had the odds, you had the evens. Mm-hmm. Oregon was 1, Miami was 2, Ohio State was 3, Texas was 4, Notre Dame was 5, LSU was 6, Indiana was 7, Georgia was 8, Texas was 9, Alabama was 10. Our first 2 out, I had Ole Miss, you had A&M. Josh Pate's top 25. Notre Dame was 1, Texas was 2, Oregon was 3, Ohio State was 4, Miami was 5, Indiana was 6, Georgia was 7, Ole Miss was 8, Oklahoma was 9, Texas A&M was 10. Let me just press player because the play button is covering over some of these teams. After that, you had USC was 11, LSU was 12, Alabama was 13, BYU was 14, Michigan was 15, Texas Tech 16. How about this team making a surprise into the top 25? Just because all the changes, I think this is a fair ranking for them. Penn State 17, Houston 18, Utah with Morgan Scalley at 19, SMU at 20, the Gators 21, Iowa 22, Mizzou 23, Washington 24, Louisville 25.
He did a pretty good job. I mean, I would rearrange some of them, but I can't really argue with that.
I will be curious to see at the end of the year who has a better season, Michigan and Utah, LSU and Ole Miss. Like, I'm just curious with the changes in the coaching. Golding at Ole Miss, LSU now having Lane Kiffin, Michigan getting Whittingham, Scalley now being the head coach there. Utah. Those are 4 schools. I'm just curious how they're ordered at the end of the year. And I also want to see how good Penn State is. And I said Penn State should be a 9 or a 10 win team with their schedule.
Right.
And then how far back does Iowa State fall after losing Matt Campbell?
I like that he has as high as he has Houston. I think Houston's going to surprise a lot of teams in the Big 12 this year. And an outside team I'm really interested is Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech.
With Franklin?
Dude.
That'd be good. Franklin at Virginia Tech or Penn State with Campbell. That's probably more sexier than Iowa State, how much they're going to play.
I think both of those teams it's going to be really fascinating. I hope that Franklin can get Virginia Tech back to some semblance of what it was back when I remember Virginia Tech being Virginia Tech, like with Vic in them.
Little beamer ball.
All
righty. It is Zach Gelb here with you on 365 Sports. We'll take a timeout. When we do come on back, let's get into some hoops. And when we get into hoops, we talk about media. Shams Charania, did he do the right or wrong thing? Jaylen Brown is fighting with Stephen A. Smith. What a kerfuffle that is. We'll get to all the hoops talk when we come on back in 2 minutes or less right here. Zach Gelb Show, new time slot, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time on 365 Sports.
The 4-burner, side sear burner with Clearview Glass stainless steel grill from Monument Grills. Made of tempered glass, which is strong, insulated, and allows you to check your grilling without lifting the lid. Our porcelain-coated cast iron cooking grids offer a large cooking surface of 513.3 square inches, primary cooking area, with even heat cooking. The Monument Grills include LED control knobs and are easy to light with pilotless electronic ignition. Better grilling, better value, Monument Grills.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
I'm Abby Dommett, 2023 CrossFit Games athlete, and I use Airwave because it helps me breathe easier and stay more relaxed during my workouts.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Very discreet.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Alrighty, welcome back in. It is the Zach Gelb Show on 365 Sports. I think so far Jaylen Brown has been insufferable this offseason. After his team blows a 3-1 lead to the Philadelphia 76ers, he's on his Twitch stream saying this was his favorite season of his career. That's not going to do him any favors when he's won an NBA championship and he's won a Finals MVP before. How isn't that your favorite year of your career? But you're entitled to your opinion. And all that's going to do is open up more and more doors to the notion that, okay, you and Jason Tatum don't see eye to eye, and there's a little bit of a beef right there. And people will be saying, oh, well, why was it Jaylen Brown's favorite season? It's because Jason Tatum basically wasn't on the court for the majority of the season. So Stephen A. Smith responded to that commentary, and I didn't think Stephen A. said anything that was that crazy. And here's the other thing. Stephen A. Smith, for at least the last few years, has been one of the loudest supporters of Jaylen Brown. So I always find it funny in any type of beef that does happen when someone claps back, and we'll play what Jaylen Brown said in just a second. He's basically like F Stephen A. Smith, where the player only chimes in when he doesn't like something that was said. And all Stephen A. Smith said, he just found it interesting that Jason Tatum has appeared on First Take, but he's never appeared on Jaylen Brown's Twitch stream. And that's like a little bit not necessary. You would think that if Jaylen Brown's trying to grow that audience, that Jason Tatum would do him a solid and jump on. I think there's more appeal. If you just ask me, Zach, if I was advising Jason Tatum, should you be dying to go on First Take or should you be dying to go on Jaylen Brown's Twitch stream? I would say First Take. First Take is definitely more watched than Jaylen Brown's Twitch stream. But like the whole Jaylen Brown approach, I'm not like everyone's going to get on him for that Jennifer Hudson show appearance. That was taped in February. So it just came out now. So I can't crush him for that. But I kind of believe the best thing for Jaylen Brown right now, even though your season was wildly successful and the Celtics in the regular season exceeded expectations, I would lay low right now. Because the reality of the situation is you're in a city and you're in an organization that's synonymous with championships. And this was a year where not that necessarily it was a disaster year for the Celtics. Once again, they exceeded expectations in the regular season. But when you're up 3-1 in the first round of the playoffs as a 2 seed, you're going up against a Sixers team that ended up getting swept by the Knicks in the next round, you got to find a way to win one more game when you're up 3-1. Like, that is a historical bad collapse in the era of Boston Celtics basketball and in the annals of Boston Celtics basketball. So when you lose like that, I'm not saying like shut up and never be heard from at any point this offseason, but when you kind of lost the public support and the public opinion with the way that you handled yourself on your Twitch stream, I don't think you need to now start a feud with Stephen A. Smith. I just don't think it helps you. And honestly, it's a win for Stephen A. Smith. You're the athlete talking about, and I get it, Stephen A. is wildly successful, but you're talking about a media member. This looks like you're punching down, and you are punching down right now. I would just get away, and I would just stay away, and I would just lay low for a little bit, because this was a successful season for you. You did a lot of good this year, but anything good that you did right now is kind of just blown up and kind of not going to get talked about, because after your team blew a 3-1 series lead, you're saying that this is your favorite season. It almost reminds me, remember when Giannis, he lost that series to the Heat, and a reporter asked him, is this a successful season? And Giannis flipped to shit on the reporter. It's like, obviously it's not a successful season, and maybe you didn't love the question, but to go after the reporter for that, it's a simple question. Like, was it a successful season? And now you're not that you're going to be able to win a championship every year, but you've won a championship before, Giannis. You need to go embrace those championship expectations. And when you're in a position where you're viewed as the favorite and you fail, just take it on the chin. Don't try to run away from the issue that is at hand and say things that are ridiculous. Like Jaylen Brown saying this was his favorite season is ridiculous. So through all that back and forth with Stephen A and Jaylen Brown, this was Jaylen Brown taking to his Twitch stream to go after Stephen A. Smith, who has been, outside of maybe like a 20-second commentary, very loyal and positive when talking about Jaylen Brown. I would call Stephen A. Smith 9 times out of 10 a Jaylen Brown supporter.
It is Kendrick Perkins' job, and my job to talk to the media. It ain't your job to be a clown. It ain't. And this whole playing the game, this delusion that y'all running with, y'all making it seem like I'm playing the game and I'm pulling the ladder down. Y'all ain't doing nothing but helping y'all motherfucking selves. And I'm tired of that shit. Y'all not being the bread. And that's why people calling that shit out. And that's why I've came to that conclusion. And I'll tell Stephen A. and whoever else when they see me in person, I will let you know that it's fuck Stephen A., Stephen B., Stephen C. directly to your face. So you don't even know. Like, it only got to be no, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? That last statement.
I just don't think it's necessary. Like, to just get on Twitch and say, F Stephen A. What is there to gain there for Jaylen Brown? You just blew a 3-1 series lead. Like, lay low. You don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to respond to everyone. And you do yourself no favors. You don't. Like, there's a part of me that if Jaylen Brown got traded this offseason and you found out he got traded to Milwaukee, or you found out that he got traded to Atlanta, like, if I'm a Celtics fan, I wouldn't be that miserable. Even though Tatum and Brown won a championship together, even though Brown's a heck of a player and they probably can go win another championship together, but there's a lot of antics that come with Jaylen Brown. And you're going to be that sensitive over a pretty much innocuous comment by Stephen A. And I don't think it's a big deal that Jason Tatum hasn't gone on Jaylen Brown's Twitch stream. That doesn't annoy me. But Stephen A has been an ally to Jaylen Brown. So for the last 3 years, when all the guy does is basically carried your water, you've had no issues. But the moment he says something that you don't like, it's, F Stephen A. Smith? I don't know. That's weak sauce. That really is some weak sauce by Jaylen Brown. And I don't want to say I've never seen an athlete act like this, because you have. A lot of athletes have been petty. But Jaylen Brown's pettiness, it's really starting to rub me the wrong way. Like, welcome to being a professional athlete. Not everything's going to be positive. People are going to have some criticisms that you may not like. And you're allowed to clap back and do so how you want. But get it on your own Twitch stream. And I'm not saying you have to go in hiding forever. But when you just blew a 3-1 series lead, then you said it's your favorite season ever, and you got a lot of backlash pointed to your direction, like, lay low for a few weeks. Like, go to a beach. Go have some fun. Go enjoy yourself. Put your toes in the sand and get some off time. Get some me time. Get some away time. Instead of, well, the postseason's still going on, and the conference finals are about to tip off tonight in the West, the East tomorrow. You don't need to be throwing yourself into the conversation when nothing positive is coming on out here. Like, step away for a bit. That's what I would say to Jaylen Brown, because you're punching down and it does not make you look good right now. So the reality of the situation, Garrett, is now Stephen A. Smith, you knew was going to respond.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you know it's going to be dramatic. You know he's going to give a retort that's going to be over the top. But I'm not saying that Stephen A. had the foresight to set out to get a reaction and get a rise out of Jaylen Brown, because I do think he genuinely likes Jaylen Brown. I do. And he supported him for years. But the moment you go after Stephen A., whether it's right or wrong, Stephen A. is going to take that as a personal shot, and he's going to take it as, I have a platform where Jaylen Brown does not get paid to Twitch, right?
No.
Like that's not his main job.
Right. It's a side
hustle. He
hustle.
makes money off of it. But that's like, all right, something you do as a hobby. Stephen A. Smith's job is to give opinions and to entertain. And when you go after him and you kind of tug on Superman's cape,
right,
even if he goes over the top in the retort, he's going to punch back. And there's some times where he's over the top and he's dramatic in his responses back and he looks like a jackass. But when you're the media member and the player responds, that's a win for the media member 9.5 times out of 10. Like, I've been in that position before in my career.
Mm-hmm.
And when I interviewed Deebo Samuel and I asked him what I thought were fair, legitimate questions about things that he said, and he hung up the phone on me. You know, a lot of ex-athletes were like going after me. Like Torrey Smith was trying to tell me how to interview. And then when I punched back at Torrey Smith, because I wasn't responding to a lot of those, but, you know, I met Torrey here or there when I was covering the Eagles. And when I responded back to Torrey Smith, he's like, well, I'm the football player. Like, what do I know or anything like that? Like, Torrey, you tried to tell me how to interview. You may not think I'm a good talk show host. You may not like certain things that I do. My resume speaks for itself. I'm one of the best interviewers in the damn country. All right? Like, with the sandbox that I've had compared to people that have bigger sandboxes, I get more out of my guests consistently. You know, maybe there's 2 or 3 more. Like, McAfee gets a ton. Dan Patrick gets a ton. I'm just talking in the sports world.
Right.
Like, Joe Rogan does all these interviews, obviously. Like, I can't compete with that. But I make a crap ton of headlines with some of the best national shows in the country, and that's a fact. Like, that's known in our business and in our industry. But, like, Torrey Smith's trying to tell me how to interview, and, like, I'll have friends that go, yo, you're like, some people are shredding you online. You're like, you think I care?
No.
Like,
I'd be like you trying to tell
NFL
Torrey how to run a
players-
route.
Yeah. Like, when NFL play, and I wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
When NFL players are responding or, like, teams are responding, that's a win for the media. So Jaylen Brown hears what Stephen A. Smith says. He responds, and then Stephen A. is going to respond. This is all good for the brand of Stephen A. Smith. Now, there will be people that will be like, I'm sick of Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith's a clown. Like, you're entitled to that opinion, but you're still watching.
Right.
You're still listening. Like, I had a program director say to me, like, oh, there's a lot of positive reaction about you. And my response to the program director, I remember saying to him was, yeah, it's nice. I want 50% of the people to love me, 50% of the people to hate me. And whenever I talk to younger broadcasters, I say this. When you get criticism, like, there's different types of criticism. But when you get someone that goes out of their way to just say something negative to you for the sake of it, that's when you know that you're doing something well. Because you have resonated with that person where they're like, oh, I'm going to go after this person and take time out of my day to find them.
Correct.
And what they said resonated with you so much that then you're going to send them a bunch of different messages. And you know what happens a lot of times? A lot of times the people that are trying to get a reaction out of you, because they listen so much, they may not know it, but they're fans of you. And then if you do respond to them, they'll be like, oh, I listen to you every day. I was just trying to get a reaction out of you. And then other people will legitimately hate your guts. But in this case, objectively looking at it, Stephen A. Smith has won this battle with Jaylen Brown, because why should Jaylen Brown be responding to anything that Stephen A. Smith says? So here was Stephen A.'s, like, I watched the whole thing on First Take this morning. Like, for example, I went out of my way. I'm not anti-First Take. Like, some people are anti-First Take. I'm not. I went out of my way to watch First Take this morning when I was getting ready for the show because I wanted to see what Stephen A. was going to respond with, because I knew it was going to be something that was over the top or, like, serious or dramatic, with Jaylen Brown getting on his Twitch stream and saying, F Stephen A, F Stephen B, F Stephen C. So this was Stephen A. Smith earlier this morning on First Take, an excerpt of his response and his retort to Jaylen Brown.
And Jaylen Brown, be careful what you wish for. You really want me to start reporting on that level? You understand? Locker room? How the organization might think about you? How the city may feel about you? How Jason Tatum may or may not have feel about you? Sneaker deals, endorsement deals, the list goes on and on. The season is over, bro. You on Twitch trying to do what I do and talking about me needing to step away. It makes no sense. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm simply making the point that it is not wise, after 24 hours of having your season over in the first round, for you to be coming out talking about that's your favorite season. It ain't the smartest thing in the world to do. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was trying to sit up there and look out by letting you know this is not a good look. It's not wise. That's all. And I would have respected Jaylen Brown more, Big Perk, Jay, had he come at y'all, had he come at everybody who said exactly what I was saying. But evidently, you understand, when you're talking about clickbait and all of that stuff, somebody told you one of the best ways to get it is to bring up my name. And that's what you did. So who's really looking for clickbait? Is it me or is it you? And obviously, you would think you wouldn't need it. $304 million, NBA player. You don't need it. What you doing it for? I'll leave it at that for now.
So there you go. That's Stephen A. Smith. You know, Draymond Green a while back was like, oh, this is new media.
Right.
Like players having, and I'm all for players having podcasts. I'm not going to crush a player for having a podcast, but they're doing it because they want more attention. They want more eyeballs on their brand, and they want to grow their brand with their own content. And there's a lot of times that the shit that Draymond Green bitches about with the media, that Draymond will do the same crap and actually do it even worse. And like Jaylen Brown is kind of giving me that impression. I'm fed up with Stephen A. Smith, who basically has given him a back massage for the last 3 years, and he says one critical thing, and it's somewhat critical, and the next thing you know, Jaylen Brown's like, F Stephen A, F Stephen B, F Stephen C. But what Jaylen Brown is like complaining about, how, oh, Stephen A. Smith, you're a clown for talking about me, and you don't use your platform the right way. Well, like, what are you using your platform for, Jaylen Brown? To go point the finger after your team blew a 3-1 lead and like give all these ridiculous things and ridiculous commentaries to try to distract people from acknowledging the fact that you as the star player of the Celtics blew a 3-1 series lead? Like when you say that was your favorite season with the Boston Celtics, how else is how should people interpret that? They're going to interpret it by saying, oh, well, it was his favorite season. And I know you could tell me, oh, they exceeded expectations, which they did, because Jason Tatum wasn't on the court. And I know a lot of times, sometimes I think that's a stretch where Brown and Tatum and the relationship, people think it's horrible, but they're obviously not the same dude. They obviously don't see eye to eye. Now, they could win a championship and coexist together. We've seen that before. But once you win one, it's about winning another. And do I believe that they could win a championship together again? Yes, I do. But with Giannis Antetokounmpo out there, and if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown aren't on the same page, and Brad Stevens continues to get that vibe that Jaylen's not all in with the Boston Celtics, you know, Giannis, even with some of his health issues, is a better player than Jaylen Brown. And if you don't get the sense that he actually wants to be there, I wouldn't fault Brad Stevens for 1 second if he uses Jaylen Brown and trades Jaylen Brown and goes on out and get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, I watched the whole segment that Stephen A. had, and I put this out on social media. Stephen A. Smith just clapped back at Jaylen Brown by saying Jaylen makes too much money to be cheap and not having a professional-looking studio/production team. Stephen A. then said he praised Jaylen Brown the entire season, never complained about his style on TV. Stephen A. Smith also shared how Jaylen's family has thanked him before for how positive he's talked about Jaylen. Stephen A. concluded with saying Jaylen is just pointing the finger at everyone but himself to try and deflect from the fact, with Jaylen as the star, the Celtics blew a 3-1 lead in the playoffs. I'll ask you this question, Garrett. When athletes have their own podcast or Twitch stream, when they have a bad loss,
Right.
do you have an appetite to hear that player on their own podcast or Twitch stream when it's extra after a bad loss?
Not really. Not unless there was something egregious that I might be on their side and want to get their perspective of it. But with the way things unfolded like this, no, I don't really care to hear you make excuses for what unfolded.
So I think when you get into the content game world, whether it's traditional media, whether it's podcasts, whether it's just getting on a Twitch stream.
Right.
And whether he thinks that's media or not, it is media.
It's definitely media.
I think when you have a really bad loss, you need to at least make yourself available. You still need to do your normal routine. But the frequency in this, as much as it's going to be going on, and getting into an additional war here That to me is the unnecessary part.
Correct.
Like, Jaylen Brown shouldn't go into hiding where he's never going to speak. But when you lose the way that you did lose, and then you understand you saying, oh, this was your favorite season, however you thought it was going to come off, didn't resonate and didn't land the way that you thought, I then don't think the next plan needs to be, all right, I lost that battle. So Stephen A. Smith, who basically has praised me for 3 years, says one thing I don't like. So now I'm going to clap back in Stephen A. Smith and say F Stephen A, F Stephen B, F Stephen C. Like, it just doesn't make you look good. So I'm not saying I'd never want to hear from Jaylen Brown again. I do want to hear from Jaylen Brown. Keep on doing what you're doing, but just reset a little bit. Like, you're losing this battle publicly. Go on vacation for a week or two. Enjoy your money. Enjoy your riches. Have some off time. Get away from it a little bit. Let it die down. And then in 2-3 weeks from now, you could start back up. But when you blow a 3-1 lead, no one wants to see you when you play for the Boston Celtics now getting into a kerfuffle and a media fight and a media feud with Stephen A. Smith when the Knicks are playing, in the Eastern Conference Finals and they're getting ready to go up against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Western Conference Finals are also getting underway when you have San Antonio and Oklahoma City. And even though people didn't think your team could win a championship before the season started, you walked into this postseason as the number 2 seed and you couldn't even get out of the first round. You gotta just take a step back and breathe a little bit, Jaylen Brown, and not punch down and get into a media feud with Stephen A., who's loving this, and it's better for Stephen A., even though you think you won because he got on Twitch, and told Stephen A. Smith to go F himself.
I think from his perspective, it's okay. Because I'm not down for listening to it. You're not down for listening to it, but he obviously has an audience there, right? That like he's established, and there are people that are coming to that. I think it's walking the fine line where instead of taking the realization that you laid out, that maybe I should decompress, go away, and then come back to this. He's viewing it as, oh well, I got people waiting to hear what I have to say. I've got to jump on, and that's where I think we've got to be careful with crossing over here.
Well, I'm not saying I don't want to hear from him at all. I just think you got to be able to read the room.
Right.
Like, what you think you're doing right now is not working for you with a lot of people. And it makes it look like you are trying to create all this drama to run away from the fact that as the number 1 star of this team, because Tatum wasn't 100% healthy for most of the year, that your team blew a 3-1 lead. Like, just... I'm not saying you need to, like, put it this way. Draymond, with how active Draymond is on social media.
Correct.
And he's a member of the media now. He's on inside the
TNT
NBA here or there.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
ESPN.
well, not TNT. It's now ESPN now. But when they blew that lead 3-1 to the Cleveland Cavaliers, if that happened this year, let's say with Golden State, I don't know if Draymond would be podcasting as frequently as he does. Like, you have the episode, you acknowledge it, and then we'll be back in a little bit. I don't know if it would be Draymond getting into a fight with Stephen A. on social media. Maybe I'm wrong, though.
I would agree with that one, maybe. But if Durant had a podcast like this, I guarantee you he'd be on
you wouldn't
there.
know that Kevin Durant would have his own podcast.
Exactly, because he would be under some, like, alias.
He would do it under an alias and just go fight people. Durant wouldn't have the guts to do anything real publicly. Like, let's be real on that.
Right, that's fair.
All right, so the Western Conference Finals do start tonight. Who are you rooting for between the Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder?
I don't really have a dog in the fight. Probably the Thunder.
Okay, I want the Spurs to win. I want the Spurs to win because I want Wemby to get to the NBA Finals this early in his career. I don't think the Thunder are going to lose this series, but the Thunder, they just won a championship. I do believe that a lot of people are bored with the Thunder. They're a great team, and they play a physical style of basketball that is conducive to drawing fouls. And I think people are already with the Thunder like, okay, there's no one really polarizing on this team. They're there. We all just know that they're great. Where if you give me the Spurs in the NBA Finals, just having Wembanyama and him looking like an alien, I think would be really fun. But as much as I want the Spurs to win, even though Wemby should have been suspended for Game 5 in that last series, that vicious elbow up against the Minnesota Timberwolves, I have a tough time seeing at this stage of where the Spurs are. I'm not saying it's impossible, but when it's not one game win or go home, and it's a race to 4. I'm just going to ride with the team that's been the best team consistently throughout the season, and that's the Thunder to get to 4.
And I think it's too is like I'm cognizant that the Thunder are in their window right now, whereas the Spurs are kind of like about to lay the foundation. They're still laying the foundation to get rolling, and I think there's going to be more championships coming for them and Wemby. Whereas I think that window right now, we're seeing the Thunder have to win everything they can at this moment before it goes away, and I think they're going to capitalize on that.
Knicks and Cavs. I think the Knicks are going to win this series in either 5 or 6 games. The Knicks have been off for a while now. The Cavs just had to go win a Game 7. They didn't have to grind it out. The Pistons didn't show up in a Game 7. That Game 5 really did change the series. The Pistons choked. Then the Cavs snagged that victory, but then Cleveland ends up losing Game 6, and then in Game 7, the Cavs pull it on out. But I look at the Cavs as last series when the Celtics played the Sixers before the Knicks. Before that series started, the Knick fan would say, hey, I'd rather see Philadelphia than the Celtics.
Right.
Then as the series did go on, the Knick fan said, no, I'd actually rather see the Celtics more than the Sixers. The Sixers ended up winning that series. The Knicks disposed of them in 4 games. I think it was the same thing, where the Knick fan going into last series with the Pistons and the Cavs, as the series started, said, oh, I'd rather see the Cavs win. Then as the series did go on, no, I'd rather see the Pistons win. And now the Cavs come in. I really, I think I'm being benevolent saying Knicks in 6. I really could see this being 5. Donovan Mitchell is a heck of a player.
Yeah.
James Harden had a good series, but as the stakes get higher and higher, I just don't trust. I just don't rock with James Harden.
Yep.
I do believe we're going to get an NBA Finals of Thunder and Knicks.
I agree.
And if you ask me, Zach, is it more likely that San Antonio or Cleveland ends up going to the NBA Finals, like one of the Thunder or the Knicks would lose? I actually think it's more likely that San Antonio would go to the NBA Finals over Cleveland. I still believe that the Thunder and Spurs are the 2 best teams left in the playoffs, and the Knicks are 3. But the Cavs, to me, are a distant 4th here. And I would have a tough time seeing Cleveland, even with the Knicks last year. And I know they had a different coach, but they got to the conference finals. A lot of people thought they were going to beat the Pacers. They lose to the Pacers. I do believe that this time around, the Knicks aren't going to play around, and they're going to find a way to get to the NBA Finals.
No, I agree with that. To me, the Knicks kind of feel like they're on that destiny ride right now, where you were so close last year, you're there this year, and the support. I just think there's something unique about this team, and for me personally, I've just never seen it. I've always heard the glory of the Knicks.
Yeah,
I want to see them win a championship. I want to see what that would look like. So I would go for that.
Well, people say what's a satisfactory season for the Knicks? It's to get to the NBA Finals. Because for most of the year, people have said, get to the NBA Finals or bust for the Knicks.
Right.
NBA Finals or bust. And when you get there, you better win because you never know if you're going to get back.
Correct.
But there has been a clear pecking order in this NBA season that OKC is the best team and San Antonio is the second team. One of those teams are going to get to the NBA Finals. So maybe, I don't really buy that the Knicks are a team of destiny. I just think the Knicks have established themselves as the best team in the East. And I know the Pistons had an incredible regular season. It just didn't feel like the Pistons were ready to go to the NBA Finals.
Right.
The Celtics with the Tatum injury, I didn't think Tatum was going to be able to get through 3 rounds to get to the NBA Finals, and that team wasn't designed to win a championship. It was fair to say if the Knicks don't get to the NBA Finals this year, then when are they going to get to the NBA Finals? And with the shortcoming last year and then the coaching change, I do believe the Knicks are going to the finals this year. All righty, this is Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports. Let's take a break. We'll come on back. We'll do some more football. Aaron Rodgers is back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That became official today. What are we going to expect of the Steelers this season? I'll give that answer when we return in 2 minutes or less.
You have a second?
Yeah, come on in.
Thanks. I'm having an issue with Ralph.
With Ralph?
He keeps stealing my lunch.
He's just researching new flavors.
That is slow smoked turkey.
Ralph steals my lunch all the time. You get used to it.
He also peed on my bag.
He is warming up to you. You know, starting a new job, it's a big change. I want you to think about how you can be more accommodating to Ralph. We're all co-owners here.
If I'm only wearing one suit this summer, it has to be Tuileries Performance Linen. It's wrinkle resistant, machine washable, and built with stretch and breathability that actually moves with you. It'll keep you cool, sharp, and stress-free at your next event.
What does being different mean to me? You know, that is an interesting question.
Because there really isn't one way. There's a bunch of different ways you could do it.
But love is passion. Something you can't live without.
What do you want? What's that really good non-alcoholic beer I keep hearing about?
Do you have that really great non-alcoholic beer that I keep seeing?
You mean athletic? You're looking at it.
It's athletic. Ask for it.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Alrighty, welcome back in. It is the Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports. It's so anticlimactic, Garrett, because we all expected this was going to be the fact, but Aaron Rodgers is now officially back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had some OTAs start off today, or whatever they call it, this part of the offseason program, and it's going to be a one-year contract, $25 million. I've already said this, so I'll say it again. The Steelers right now are the definition of mid.
Yep.
They're not bad enough to be picking in the top 10. They're not good enough to be legitimately competing for a Super Bowl. We haven't seen them win a playoff game since the 2016 season. Yes, Mike Tomlin's no longer there, but Mike McCarthy is going to be the head football coach. McCarthy and Tomlin, I don't really see much of a difference. Like Tomlin and Harbaugh, both of them, and you throw in Sean Payton and you throw in Mike McCarthy, I think they're all very similar. Like maybe we'll do that as a segment one day. How would you rank those four coaches? Sean Payton won a Super Bowl in New Orleans. John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. Mike Tomlin won a championship with the Steelers. And Mike McCarthy won a championship with the Packers and then went to Dallas and 3 out of the 4 years made the postseason, even though none of those years they really looked like a great championship contender. Tomlin, we don't know what his next chapter is going to be. I know he's with NBC. Harbaugh going to the Giants. We'll see how that goes. And you look at Sean Payton. He's been successful the last 2 seasons. I know he's been there for 3, but the last 2 seasons in Denver where Bo Nix is a rookie. They made the wild card round. Last year they made it to the AFC Championship game. Bo Nix got hurt in that divisional round victory, and he was not able to go for the AFC Championship game, so maybe Sean would have been in the Super Bowl last year. But I look at the Steelers team. Everyone gives the Steelers the benefit of the doubt because of name, Garrett.
Yeah.
Well, they'll go, oh, it's a great defense. That has not been a great defense for a while, and that defense in big moments has been disappointing. So they do have some big names, but I don't believe that this is a great Steelers defense entering the season. On offense, yeah, Rodgers is still a good quarterback. He's not elite. He's not MVP anymore. He's not great. DK Metcalf is good. You got Michael Pittman Jr. In there, who's a good number 2 wide receiver. But I just don't look at this team where if you tell me they're going to make the playoffs, I'm not going to call you an idiot and a moron and a dope. But I look at them and I could say that they are a borderline playoff team this year. And it's tough for me to really get behind what the Steelers are doing and saying, oh, gee golly, I'm really excited to see what Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers are this season.
I don't understand this. It's a 1-year deal. So, and I honestly, I don't think he's coming back after this year. I think he's either going to, yeah, we don't know. I feel like he'll hang it up or he's going to do the same song and dance and end up somewhere else. So from that standpoint, I do not like this move at all if I'm the Steelers, because you have a situation where you could either see what you have in Will Howard, you can see what you have in Drew Aller, you could just run it. There's some changeover within the division where you can compete. And I think you still have the same type of success if you brought Aaron Rodgers back. But I just want to see what those guys can do. And if they're not the fit, which I don't think either one of them are the franchise quarterbacks that you're really going to hang your hat on going forward, then you put yourself in a position to draft high in what is arguably the best quarterback class that we've seen in a while, and put yourself in the mix to get Arch Manning or something. I just think this is a one of those moves where
it's a punt.
It's like setting your franchise back again. And if I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers,
well, it's setting them to say
I'm
the same.
pissed.
That's what it is. It's setting them up to just be the same mediocre Pittsburgh Steelers. And the one thing that I would say, I don't think it's off the table. If they go win 10, 11 games this year, let's say, which is not crazy.
No, they could do it.
And they win the AFC North and they lose in the first round to the playoffs. And Rodgers at the end of the year, like, it's acknowledged that he's had a good season. He wants to play again. It would not shock me if they run it back with Aaron Rodgers for another year, a year from now. And that's the thing. You're running the same playbook, and you're expecting something different. Where do I think a Will Howard or Drew Aller are the answers? No, I don't. I personally do not. But I would have more of an appetite to see them than Rodgers, because it's the payoff of, okay, if Aller or Howard work, you get like a Dak Prescott steal with a later round draft pick, or a Brock Purdy or something like that. Fine. You have a quarterback that's a really good quarterback then. But if it doesn't work, then you're probably picking in the top 10 of the draft. And then you could go strike on, I don't think they'll be as bad to get Arch or Dante Moore, but maybe you end up getting Sayin, Lenore Sellers, Darian Mensah, Mestamaker, like whoever that quarterback is, where if it works for Rodgers, you win a playoff game.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, you are probably still going to wear win bare minimum 9 games. And then you're 22, 23. If you miss the playoffs, like maybe you're at best 18. And could you move up? Yeah, you could move up in the draft and you could get future draft capital. But in terms of the destination and what the results could be, I personally don't get why you need to bring back Aaron. I would have just made that a one-off and say, Mike McCarthy, you're a quarterback whisperer. You're an offensive-minded coach. Let's see what you could do year one with Howard or with Aller. And then if it doesn't work, we'll let you go get your next quarterback in the draft.
I want to do this exercise with you. So this is something I immediately wanted to look at when this news dropped. And I went to the schedule. We're going to go by the schedule and tell me if Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback in this matchup. So you open up with the Falcons. Would Aaron Rodgers or whoever they have? I would give Aaron Rodgers. What about you?
Yeah, I would still say Aaron Rodgers. You could expect more out of him than Tua or Michael Penix Jr. You're just talking for one game.
Just one game. We're talking straight up one game. The Pats, I got to go Drake May. Bengals.
Yep. Joe Burrow.
All right. Browns.
Rodgers.
I would go Rodgers. Colts.
Close, but I don't know how healthy Daniel Jones is going to be, and that's still early in the season, so I would go Rodgers.
All right. The Bucks, Baker.
Baker.
Yep. Saints with Shuck. I would take Shuck, but I know a lot of people would probably still ride Aaron in this. It's
too early. I got to see Shuck play a full season.
That's fair. The Browns, once again.
Yeah, Browns, Bengals. We could pass in the division
Eagles.
Teams.
Eagles. I'm taking Jalen.
I'm taking Jalen over Aaron. Yep.
All right. You go to the Broncos here. Yeah, Bo Nix.
I would take Bo over Aaron entering the season. Yep.
Texans, CJ Stroud. That's tough. He was rough down the stretch, but I still have more confidence in him.
I don't think, even with Aaron's playoff shortcomings, I don't think Aaron's throwing 4 interceptions in a playoff game. So I would actually go Aaron over CJ.
I'll give you that. The Jags.
I would go Aaron over Trevor Lawrence, but it's close.
All right, then we'll skip the Ravens.
Lamar. I would go Lamar. Don't skip the Ravens.
I didn't think. Yeah,
they that's their first matchup. Wow, they play the Ravens.
Yeah.
You got 2 times in the final 4 weeks of the season. But yeah, I would take Lamar.
And then you have Carolina there with Bryce. That's when I'm on the fence. I'd probably still take Aaron.
I
guess it just depends, honestly. Though.
I think it's close. I think it's. I have no preference there, honestly.
Cam Ward with the Titans. That's kind of where I'm at with Bryce.
I got to see more from Cam. Yeah.
And then you got the Ravens again. So, I mean, you're looking at a situation where at least in 7 games, he's not even the best quarterback in the matchups you're facing.
Let me ask you this. Is Aaron Rodgers, when you do a list this year, the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, do you even consider Aaron Rodgers?
Probably not. I mean, I don't think I would. I'm trying to think in my head, like the 32 team. No, I think there's 10 quarterbacks better than Aaron Rodgers.
Well, let me just do this. Ready?
Okay.
Josh Allen.
I'm taking Josh.
Drake May.
Drake.
Lamar.
Yep, Lamar.
Joe Burrow.
Yep, Yep, Joe.
Let's pass up the AFC South so far. Justin Herbert.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Like, I'll leave Bo Nix out of it just for argument's sake for right now. That's 6 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen.
Yes.
Dak Prescott.
Yes, at this point.
That's 8. All right, like, I'll even leave off Jaden Daniels for now.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff's better than Aaron Rodgers entering this season.
I would be hesitant on that, but I would hear your argument.
Fine.
Yeah.
You could leave it off. You know what? I'll even leave out the rest of the North. I think there's arguments made for Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
NFC South, you'd rather have Baker, right?
Yes.
That's 9. Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
That's 10.
So, yeah.
And I haven't even got to Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy yet.
Yeah, so he's not a top 10 quarterback.
He's not a top 10 quarterback. And that's the point. The Steelers are just like mid.
Yeah.
Mid. I'm curious here.
What do you think they do in the division? Like, I mean, they're not even.
I think they could win the division. Right now, if I had to rank my teams, how I rank them.
Yeah.
They have a lot to prove. I think the Bengals, though, if Burrow's healthy, will win this division.
Okay.
I would then say the Ravens are 2 because of Lamar. There is some questions about Jesse Minter. And then I would say the Steelers are 3 and the Browns are 4. The one guarantee with this division is the Browns are 4th.
Correct.
1, 2, and 3. If you tell me the Ravens are 1, the Steelers are 2, and the Bengals are 3, fine. If you tell me, the Steelers are 1, the Bengals, like you could order them any way you want. Going into the season right now on May 18th, I'm going to give the slight edge to the Bengals. I then am going to say the Ravens are 2 and the Steelers are 3.
I'd agree with that.
But I want to do win-loss here real quickly.
All right.
But before I do that, I just want to see top 20 QBs in the NFL this season. I just want to see if there's a list out there because I would say probably Rodgers in that like 14 to 16 range, like maybe even like as high as 12 still. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's top 10. I'm just curious if I could find a list right here.
He's got to be like a 50. I would start about like the 15
Let's
range.
do this. Top 20 QBs entering 2026 NFL season. I don't think we're early yet on the list. It is like a little bit early, but I don't think it's...
Somebody's probably got one.
Okay, let's see. Okay, USA Today did this 17 hours ago.
Okay.
There we go. Way to go, Nate Davis, whoever you are. Here we go. 31.
They got him at 31?
Sorry, 32, Jacoby Brissett. 31, Geno Smith. 30, Malik Willis. 29, whoever wins the battle between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. 28, Kirk Cousins or Fernando Mendoza. 27, Jackson Dart. 26, Daniel Jones. That's low for DJ. With the year that I'm not saying that I trust him, but before he got hurt, people were talking about him as an outside MVP candidate. Cam Ward, 25. Tua Michael Penix, 24. Bryce Young, 23. Tyler Shuck, 22. Oh, my Lord. Aaron Rodgers, 21.
Ooh.
Let's see the quarterbacks they put in front of Rodgers.
Right.
Stroud at 20.
Okay.
Bo Nix at 19.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray at 18.
I might be able to get on board with that with this move, dude.
Because of the situation,
yes.
not believing in Kyler.
That's all it is. It's just situationally.
Brock Purdy, 17.
Okay.
Jordan Love, 16. Jaden Daniels, 15. Trevor Lawrence, 14. Baker Mayfield, 13. Sam Darnold, 12. Jalen Hurts, 11. Caleb Williams, 10. Justin Herbert, 9. Dak Prescott, 8. Jared Goff, 7. Lamar Jackson, 6. Oh, my Lord. Patrick Mahomes, 5?
I guess it's just the injury. I guess.
My guy, Drake May, 4. Matthew Stafford, 3. Joe Burrow, 2. And Josh Allen in at number 1. I'm just that was another list out there. Now, I could probably find this in my notes.
Mm-hmm.
When I first got here, I did like right after the Super Bowl. It was top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I will definitely be changing this, but maybe this is something that we could do at some point later on. Okay, this is top 10 players in the draft. I will find this. Hold on, give me 2 seconds here. Let me just bear with me. I'm sure I could find this because I remember seeing this. All right, this is a mock draft. I have it somewhere here in the notes. Okay, here we go. These are we did college. We did college coaches, college quarterbacks. Okay, so that is not what I'm looking for.
I don't know if we did. Did we do top 10 quarterbacks in the league?
We either did it or I wrote it down because I saw this the other day somewhere in my notes. Maybe I am getting confused with college.
I think we did the college. I don't think we did the NFL.
Okay, so we didn't do NFL. So maybe that's
something
something that I owe you.
Yep.
I don't know why I thought I did NFL here. Let's see. I know though I did, like last year when I did it, I had the names there, which is going to look good for your guy, Jaden Daniels. Let me see. I did top 10 wide receivers. There's coaches right there. Come on. Right, Garrett? It's got to be coming up here shortly.
Be soon,
here we go.
think.
Top 10 NFL quarterbacks. Oof.
You whiff?
No, I think I just wrote down like 10 names in no order. This is what I had him last year as. This was last year. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, C.J. Stroud, Baker Mayfield, and Jared Goff. That was entering last season.
Right.
So I gather I have not done one yet this offseason.
Well, we got it.
That's something I will get to the drawing board and I will give that to the audience. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this when we were talking NBA.
Oh yeah,
and then I'll get back to win-loss.
Yeah.
Shams Charania breaks who wins the MVP yesterday in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I gather Amazon Prime Video, they pay a lot of money, and I think they were supposed to have that announcement. Everyone's, like, a lot of people are giving Shams shit for this. He's a NBA insider.
Mm-hmm.
If someone runs their mouth and gives him the news, is that really a big deal that he broke it? Like, if Adam Schefter breaks who won the NFL MVP, are we getting on Shefty for that?
I think some people would. I think we're at a point now where, I mean, I understand it from the reporter's angle. Like, if somebody gives it to you, you put it out. But I think we need to let the league, like if SGA knew and was cool, but I would rather have the league announce it, or there be like a small window where Shams has like 5 minutes before the league announces. Then I would be cool.
But then keep it a secret.
Right. That's where I'm going back to. Like, it's kind of
here's
like
the problem:
the schedules.
Look how long the regular season ended ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a regular season award. So are people revealing their votes and saying who they voted for, and then Shams able to figure it out? No, probably someone called Shams and told Shams, hey, SGA won it. So if you want that to be so sacred, don't release the information or limit the people that have that information, and don't have them go blab. Like, I never get with the awards, and I say this to the NFL as well. The NFL waits till Super Bowl week to release the awards. They're at the end of the regular season. And then people go, oh, well, this guy didn't win. No, the voting was already done. So when the regular season ends, just release the awards and tell us who won. I can't get all up in arms over the fact that Shams had this story. I can't. But here was Dirk and company. I don't know who the crew is necessarily. I gotta see the clip. I know Taylor Rooks is on it, but this is on Prime Video. They were poking some fun at Shams Charania for leaking the news before they got to.
Just to be clear, the official announcement is happening here. Dirk and Steve, you all both won MVPs, but I don't remember Shams spoiling it way back then.
I don't think he was around then. He was a baby then.
Yeah, what are we doing, man? Like, it's Sunday, Shams. Go to brunch, you nerd. Come on.
I don't think there's anything that crazy there. They're having fun with it. Clearly, they wish that they got to break the story because then their clip would go viral, and now it's a Shams tweet that goes viral. That was Blake Griffin, Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, Taylor Rooks. Can you play that clip? I couldn't catch it. Was on the
clear,
right. Was
the
that
official
Udonis
announcement
Haslem?
is happening here. Dirk and Steve, you all both won MVPs, but I don't remember Sham spoiling it way back then.
I don't think he was around then. He was a baby then.
Yeah, what are we doing, man? Like, it's Sunday, Shams. Go to brunch, you nerd. Come on.
Yeah, I think that is Udonis Haslem, who is a studio analyst for Prime's Videos, exclusive NBA coverage. I'm going to assume that is Udonis Haslem. So that's not a big deal to me. It's not.
They were having
Prime
fun with it,
pays a lot of money for those rights. So whoever someone wanted to get that information to Shams, and then Shams goes viral for it. How many views? I haven't looked at this, but I'm curious. How many views do you think Shams did for the MVP tweet? If I had to guess without looking for it, I'm gonna say 5.8 million.
I would at least 3. I'll say 3.5.
Okay, let's see. Let's get right to the one. Breaking, okay. Ooh.
He crushed it.
18 million.
Damn. Yeah, I'd be kind of upset too if I was Amos.
Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has won his second consecutive NBA Most Valuable Player award, becoming the 14th player in league's history to win back-to-back MVPs. Multiple sources tell ESPN. 18 million views. Whew. That's off a tweet that's over nice. A guy winning an MVP award. 18 million. Yeah, maybe I could figure out why Prime's a little butthurt over that.
A little butthurt.
NBA MVPs. Wait, was that to win consecutive?
Yeah,
becoming the fourth player. Oh, to win back-to-back MVPs. So who are the 14 players who has won back-to-back MVPs? I think Steve Nash was one of them. Let's see.
Don't even be lying.
Several other NBA legends have achieved this feat, including recent winners, obviously Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Steph Curry. Other notable back-to-back NBA MVPs include LeBron James, Steve Nash, Tim Duncan, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Moses Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, and Bill Russell. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander joins that
company
exclusive list, obviously. Yeah, pretty damn good company.
Pretty good company.
Okay, I'll do Steelers win-loss, then we'll take a break, and then we'll wrap things up on the other side. Because you're right, Garrett. We seem critical on the Steelers, but I feel like when I do win-loss here, I'm still going to have them at 9 or 10 wins.
Oh,
but that's where they're stuck.
Yeah.
So Atlanta week 1, I'll say that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
New England week 2, I say that's a loss. They will split with Cincinnati. Since this game's at home, I'll give them the win up against Cincinnati. I think they split with Cleveland. So this is at Cleveland. I'll say that's a loss. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. I think they'll split with the Browns. I think they'll split with the Bengals. I think they will split with the Ravens.
Ooh.
So I give them 3 wins in division, 3 losses.
Okay.
Let's get the non-divisional matchups. I already have them with 3. It's just easier to keep track of than who I pick to win, who I pick to lose. For the divisions. Atlanta win week 1. New England lost week 2. So that's 4 right there. They play Indy on October 11th. I'm going to say they beat Indy. They then lose to Tampa Bay in Tampa. They play the Saints.
Now, who that, man?
I'm going to say that's an upset win for the Saints. Then they're at Philadelphia. I have them as a loss. They play Denver. I have that as a loss. I'll have them beating Houston, beating Jacksonville. That's 7. I could see them beating Carolina and beating Tennessee. It's 9 wins right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's 9 and 8.
It's about the same.
That's why I don't think there's – and if I'm wrong on 1 or 2, even if they get to 11, I don't think this – if I ask you right now what's more likely, 8 wins or 10 wins for the Steelers, what do you go with?
I give them 10. I give them 10.
You give them 10?
I give them 10.
All right, now you run through the schedule here real quickly. Out of the division games, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Baltimore, they play 6 times. How many do you split them 3 and 3?
No, I think they sweep the Browns and split with the Bengals and
they always lose one to Cleveland.
I know.
Okay, so you're going to give them 4 division wins.
Right. I'll give them 4 wins in the division.
Do they beat Atlanta week 1?
Yes.
That's 5. Do they beat New England?
No.
Do they beat Indianapolis?
Yes.
Do they win in Tampa Bay?
No.
Do they beat the Saints?
No.
Do they beat the Eagles in Philly?
No.
Do they beat Denver?
No.
Do they beat Houston? Houston's got the better defense.
No, they're not beating Houston.
Do they win in Jacksonville?
Yes, they'll beat Jacksonville.
Okay. Do they beat Carolina?
Yes.
Do they win in Tennessee?
I'll give them that win too, and then
So
they'll lose.
So you have them with 9 wins.
Yeah, 10 max. I mean, they could flip. Yeah.
That back part of that schedule.
That's interesting.
Cincinnati, after the bye, at Cincinnati, at the Eagles, Denver, Houston, at Jacksonville, Baltimore, Carolina, Tennessee, Baltimore. That stretch from Cincinnati to the first game against Baltimore, brutal.
Yeah, that makes your season.
That's gonna make or break their season.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely will.
All right, we'll take our final break of the day. We'll come on back. We'll give you a few things that Coach Prime has said recently. It is the Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports.
What I love most about playing basketball is the competition. I really just like being shifted, mastering hesitation moves, changing direction, building chemistry with new teammates. If you're not having fun while you're playing, it's no point in playing the game. You know what to do. Escape Basic. Pair of Thieves Quick Dry Underwear. It wicks away sweat and helps keep you dry. You looking for a deficient season?
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
I'm here to work out with you.
We did not put this little cookie cutter program together.
I'm in there with you, sweating, yelling, doing the damn thing.
Transform by Core Home Fitness.
A secret, I travel internationally every year. I struggle with insomnia both at home and especially in hotels. This was life-changing. It's called Fly Kit. My favorite aspect of the Fly Kit is it tells you when to sleep.
Dude, check out this robe. This is the dude robe. It's perfect for after the shower, gym, or even the beach. This thing is awesome. It also has this super premium towel lining to dry you off right away. Dude, what are you waiting for? Get yourself a dude robe today.
At Dreamy, we believe that life can be upgraded in comfort, convenience, and joy. He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
All right, it is the Zach Gelb Show on 365 Sports. I have 2 things in common, Garrett, with Diana Rossini. Can you guess the 2 things I have in common recently with Diana Rossini?
Y'all both love Vrabel.
That is accurate. That was one that I was going for. I love Mike Vrabel. I think she loves him a little bit more.
A little bit more. And your media members, I don't know. Or she was.
Well, that is true. We both went to Bruce Springsteen on Saturday night.
Was she there? Okay.
I did not see her, but Tony goes, "You both have a son named Mike." I do not have any kids that I know. Okay?
Fair enough.
TMZ has this report as TMZ tries to overcompensate for getting beat to the original story.
They are going all in, dude.
This was the headline I saw yesterday. Diana Rossini keeps it carefree during New York City dinner amid Mike Vrabel scandal. So there were photos that emerged of Diana Rossini at a restaurant in New York hanging out with her husband and some friends before she went to the Bruce Springsteen concert. I'm at the point, like, who gives a shit?
Like, is she supposed to give up life? She's just supposed to bunker down and never move again?
Well, let me ask you a question. They make it seem like these were some exclusive photos.
Right.
So could someone have been at dinner, snap a photo, and because TMZ's paying whatever they're paying to get photos now, could that be someone that was close by that snapped it? Or
positive PR spin?
Is she saying, I want to put on this front that all is good, me and my husband are fine, I'm telling people to snap photos of me, and I'm kind of making sure people know where I am. Like the photos of her outside of her house on Mother's Day.
Those were awkward.
Smoochy with their husband, who did not look like he wanted to be there. And she is like aggressively, it looks like, kissing her husband. Like, do I need to see those photos? No. The only time I really am going to care about this story moving forward, or I think something else happens, because at this point, if there's a new photo dump of Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini sitting at a bar kissing, all right, tell me another day that ends in Y. Or if there's a photo of her and her husband outside smooching, I don't care. The only time I really care about this story moving forward is if Diana Rossini speaks and what she says. And then also, if it comes out that the kid is Mike Vrabel's.
Yeah.
That little Mikey is Mike Sr., you know? So I tweeted this out. I think we reached the point of this story where I'm going to say, who gives a shit about this? Like, when she speaks, it'll be interesting, or if we find out something new, it will get attention. But who cares about her getting dinner before a concert?
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
It's, like Two-Tone Tony said, it's not criminal. What she did is morally wrong. What Mike Vrabel did is morally wrong. It's not criminal, though. So if Diana Rossini's husband, who knows if they had an open relationship or not, but if she's out with their husband and the husband wants to be there,
so be it.
All right. So they're allowed to go get dinner before they went to go see Bruce Springsteen in the E Street Band. Oh, could you imagine?
How was that?
The concert was great.
Yeah. I saw somebody else, like I saw a different Twitter thing and it post, and it was saying it was one of the better Bruce Springsteen concerts that they've seen in a while.
Whoa.
That's why I'm asking. I'm not a big Bruce. I need to know from the source, man.
I went to a Springsteen show. It was his longest concert ever. It was in Philadelphia, circa 2016. It was 4 hours and 8 minutes.
Okay.
These are the same set lists right now. I don't want to get political or anything like that, but he's proven a point, and I do not like to incorporate myself in the political game or anything like that. I'm there for the music. That's what I'm there for. If people are there for the politics, people are there for the politics. I love going to Bruce. My dad would listen to Bruce Springsteen all the time. We have this bond of Bruce together. I love seeing Springsteen shows. I find it tough to believe that there are that many greater live performers than Bruce. But it's a different show now. It's probably started at 7:30. It ended by 10:30. So it's like a little around 3 hours, a little bit lesser than that. But it's a similar set list. But inside, I've never seen him inside the Garden. I've seen him in Pittsburgh. I've seen him in Baltimore. I've seen him in New Jersey. I've seen him on Long Island. I've seen him all over the place. But for some reason, I've never seen it at MSG. The sound in that building, though, on Saturday night.
Legit.
And the crowd.
The crowd looked absurd, yeah.
The crowd was amazing. But am I going to sit there and say it's the greatest Springsteen show I've ever been to when I don't get Thunder Road, when I don't get Rosalita, when I don't get Thunder Crack, when I don't get Jungle Land in the Garden? I can't say it is, but the show is phenomenal. The show is absolutely phenomenal still. As Two-Tone Tony says, Zach has a soul of an 80-year-old. But could you imagine? Could you imagine if I sat down at the show? It was my buddy, his wife, me, my girlfriend, and I looked to the left, and Diana Rossini's there.
Dude,
I
would have died.
I would have just been video, TMZ, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Oh, my God. That would have been great, dude.
Oh, I would have made so much money that night. Instead, I went to the show, spent about $500 for 2 tickets, and then afterwards went and got dinner. You want to hear the absurd?
Hit me up. Let's go. Let's
pricing
do
in
it.
New York City.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe this. After the show, so my girlfriend and I, when we went into the concert, there was like one song. I'm like, all right, we could do without the song.
Yeah.
We didn't eat, so like, let's go get a burger and fries. The burger at the Garden is phenomenal, but for whatever reason, the section we were in, they didn't have the Garden burgers. The Garden burgers are so damn good. So they have this place called 7th Street Burger, which is like a popular burger chain. I've never had it. So I go, all right, like, let's split a double and we'll get fries. And if we want more after it, it is. The burger was horrible. But when you try a brand in a stadium, I don't
It's
really
not the
crush the
same.
brand. You just don't know if it's the same. So after it ended, I'm starving. My girlfriend's starving. There's this place called the Chelsea Hotel, which is like a bougie hotel. And it's on 23rd Street, and like 7th Ave, a few blocks from the Garden. I go, let's go walk in. So my girlfriend gets a Vesper Martini. I get an old fashioned. We split a burger that comes with fries. And then we wanted dessert, so we got an order of chocolate chip cookies. How much do you think 2 alcoholic drinks, a Vesper Martini, an old fashioned, a burger with fries, and chocolate chip cookies cost? 4 items.
I would say probably about
include tax and tip too.
Oh, tax and about 200.
No, come on.
I don't know. Y'all's pricing is ridiculous. I don't know.
I'm not asking you what you think. I'm asking you what you think it would cost. Don't try to be like, like what would you expect? If
I would say,
put it this way: if I didn't set it up and I just said to you, I got a burger, chocolate chip cookies, and 2 cocktails, what would you think?
About $50.
With tip, $138 fucking dollars.
So I wasn't far off.
Yes,
I wasn't far off.
$138 for a late night burger, 3 shitty chocolate chip cookies, and I like this place, and 2 drinks.
Bro, I'd be eating it like a hot dog stand or something.
I couldn't believe it. The next day, I had a much better meal, and it cost $78 total with tax and tip. Oh,
God, dude.
Late night. That was just late night getting food. I was not thinking that it was going to be that much.
That shouldn't be. No, that's wild.
And you know what? I sat there afterwards, and I really don't like to like number crunch like that. But I sat there because they just bring you over the machine. They don't bring you a receipt. You tap the card, and I go, they had to add something on the bill. So I went online, found all of it, and they didn't.
It was just
ridiculously overpriced.
Yeah,
ridiculously overpriced. Yeah, and Tony, you bet your ass I did have the munchies. I was at a freaking concert, okay?
Exactly.
So I was enjoying myself. I was vibing, and I was hungry afterwards.
As you should
I was hungry afterwards. Most expensive gummy I've ever taken. All righty, real quickly, let me get to what Coach Prime said, and then we could get on out of here. So Coach Prime has a theme so far this offseason. I want to meet him. He's talking about Todd Monken. I wanted to meet him because I think it's vital that as a coach, not the dad, I could tell him a few things about Shedeur, how to get him going, Sanders said. That wasn't asked for me a year ago. I don't understand it. Now, here's him talking. This is Coach Prime about Travis Hunter. Even a guy like Travis Hunter being drafted to Jacksonville, and I've had him for the last 3, Deion told Garrett Bush of the Barbershop podcast, don't you think you would want to talk to me to let me know, to ask me what gets him going and what backs him off and what's like that? Like, you wouldn't want to know that? Then he went on to say, we don't talk, this was about Shiloh. I remember when Shiloh talked about Mary Kay Cabin and said, get back into the kitchen and make me a sandwich. Yeah. We don't talk about nobody, he said. We don't do nothing to nobody. I know Shiloh had a little altercation that he spoke up for his brother. You got to understand, man, that's his brother. And God bless Mary Kay's soul. That's his brother. I mean, she said something. He said something like, media is different today. I know a lot of people don't respect the old school. I do because I grew up in that era that we didn't have to say so. But Shiloh spoke up for his brother and was ridiculed for that. All right, 3 things.
Bro.
I don't think it's crazy if I was the coach of the Browns to have a conversation with Deion about Shedeur. But if it doesn't happen, Garrett, I don't think you need to, go after Kevin Stefanski, who's won 2 Coach of the Year awards before in the NFL, for not consulting Coach Prime, who is not going to get to a bowl game this year at Colorado. That's number 1.
Right.
Number 2, you've made your take clear on Travis Hunter. You think he should go to the NFL and play both ways. I don't think the Jaguars, with Liam Cohen having a successful season last year without Travis Hunter,
right?
I'm not saying it hurts consulting, but he doesn't need to consult you. And the stuff on Shiloh was out of bounds. I know it's his brother, and I gave him like a pass. I didn't want to crush him. But when you retort to Shiloh Sanders, like Mary Kay go make a sandwich, you sound like a jackass. So this is why I think a lot of teams passed on Shedeur. Has nothing to do with Shedeur. It's that Dion wants to, and I like Dion, but Dion wants to assert himself in NFL matters. And Dion, right now, even though you're his dad and even though you coached him, you're not essential for the NFL.
No.
You're a struggling college coach right now.
Yes, that's been my whole thing with Shedeur since when the draft unfolded the way it did. When we were talking about it earlier this year, and I was mentioning his camp, it's the people around him that are hindering Shedeur and the opportunities that he would get in the NFL. I don't think it's necessarily indicative of him. I think he's a good player. I think he's worked his ass off to become the type of quarterback that he is. Is there development? Yeah, there's development that needs to happen with him. But the situation, how everything is unfolded, is because of the people around him and all of the mess and distraction that comes with it, not necessarily for Shedeur himself. And that's where I think it's an unfortunate situation. But I'm not surprised by any of this because you could see this coming 10 miles away if you just had some common sense and looked at the situation for what it was.
All righty, that will do it for the Zach Gelb Show on 365 Sports. I think we got a poll question today. If we had those results, I could give them to you. Who will win the AFC North title this year? Ravens at 55%, Bengals at 27%, the Steelers at 12%, and the Cleveland Browns in at 6%. It's clear and obvious to me that Cleveland's the fourth team in this division. 1, 2, and 3, Ravens, Bengals, and Steelers. You could order them whichever way you want, and you won't get a legitimate complaint out of me. But right now, I'm going to go with the potential of the Bengals. If Joe Burrow's healthy, I think they're going to win that division. There is some unknown this year with the Ravens and the Steelers as the Jesse Minter era gets underway. No longer John Harbaugh being the coach of the Ravens. And you have Mike McCarthy replacing Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. I think the Steelers defense has some problems. I'll trust Lamar as the second quarterback right here. And then I'll put Rodgers and company in at 3. I think it's close. I think you're splitting hairs. But I would order them personally right now as they sit on the 18th day of May in the year of 2026. Bengals 1, Ravens 2, Steelers 3, and the Browns in F4. Big thanks to each and every one of you for tuning on in today. Garrett, Andrew, Logan, great job back in our Waco, Texas studios. Remember, the Zach Gelb Show is now live on 365 Sports, Mondays through Fridays in our new time slot from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll talk to you tomorrow right at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, I need to say. You can always follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Zach Gelb, ZACHGELB, or on TikTok at The Zach Gelb Show, but most importantly, youtube.com/@365SportsYT, youtube.com/@365SportsYT. Make sure you subscribe. We out. Bye-bye. Peace.